Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome. I'm outside today to share some fresh air with you and also some insight on this rapid acceleration in our healing journey collectively that is happening right now. And that is exciting for sure. But I also understand that that acceleration brings about a non-linearity and a chaos that can be very unsettling, right? Because everything is affected at the same time. And it can be frightening. It can be very confusing. And so I want to go over some of those things to hopefully bring confirmation to you, bring clarity, and bring trust, right? Because if this healing journey started for you, then you are also connected to that innate intelligence. There is an engine that knows how to move you forward in that journey. So if some of these things that I'm, you know, talking about resonate with you, that means that that is you moving forward. You're not going backwards in your healing journey. It is truly, a chaos that is being created so that a new coherence can be established at a new level of vibration, right? So is this death and rebirth going on? But the chaos in between these two, it's different that I've seen before, way different. So welcome. My name is Anka and I do energy healing. And my energy healing, the way I projected it and what I thought I'm getting into, and part of it was also how I was taught. That's how you do Reiki, right? On individuals and sure on pets, trees, Overall, that was my trajectory until about 3 years ago when I realized, oh, I seem to be working with these cosmic themes, and I seem to be translating that cosmic energy for the collective, for this expansion of our perception, so it can help with the integration of that cosmic energy into our body and into our planet. So I've been working with waves, and of course, I'm part of that wave. So a lot of what I'm doing on myself, it's almost like that work, there's no separation. Myself is the collective. We are this one wave, and whatever work I do to translate, to stabilize, to transform, to whatever, right? To ground, all that work was all integral. Okay. 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was, I had this experience that was a little bit too real. It took me out of my comfort zone and it made me question a bunch of things because I was in my space, I was doing my own grounding, and all of a sudden, hundreds of people came at my window, so to speak, in meditation. But this time it wasn't like the collective that's out there, right? This energetic wave. No, no. It is people. I couldn't see their faces, but it was their bodies, and some of them were shorter, and all kinds of people of all kinds of sizes, their whole body, and they're very polite. They were not in my space, but they were there looking at me with these puppy eyes, like, are are you going to say some? Are you going to give us some chocolate? That was kind of the energy. Do you have any sweetness for us? And it put me into this space of, are you going to step up to that ask? Are you going to help? And it was sort of okay when I was doing this work with the collective being here. But now that there's these specific people, I went into my, doubt of, how real is this? Did I imagine this? I didn't imagine it. It was a real experience. But of course, I have to step up into a role that I don't know about. We shall see what this is. But I started to question, and the universe has to do more work with me, because I need not just evidence, I need a body of evidence for me to say, okay, it is real, it is so, I'll do this, right? And when I started to question this, and also, like, how do I know? How do I know that my work here has any impact on these individuals out there? Because now it wasn't like, it was very clear. It's not just this collective mumbo jumbo. It's like this energy impacts people. And so, again, at the same time, about 2 weeks ago, I had a new client, and this client was different. And I was working with the alignment, right? Because I really work with this specific energy and with this transformational energy and all this stuff. And my clients have been more aligned to that. But this one was very different. Even though it was one individual, I kind of knew she's a representative. When I started working with her, so usually with new clients, there is this period and space of, let's introduce each other. Let's feel safe with each other. Let me show you who I am. I can show you who you, whatever. We can see each other. We can start opening ourselves up for each other's collaboration. None of that was happening with her. She was just like, continue. I am here. I mean, the whole thing was, what is going on? Her body knew me like she was a client that I've worked on her for, hundreds of times, which is probably true. And not only that, so that was one thing. She came for the second session a week later. In 1 week, the things that happened to her realization, the movement through transformation, again, in 1 week, was what I would be going through at least a month, 6 weeks, 2 months. And that's when I realized, wow, okay, this is just that individual for me. This is the universe showing me you needed an individual for your whatever body of evidence. Okay, here it is. But you'll know who she is. You'll know what this is all about, right? Because the timing was just kind of perfect. So, with that, I'm here to tell you, especially if you are new to energy work, and it doesn't matter if you are working with somebody or you are literally doing the meditation and the healing on yourself, all great. But if you're newer to this, I want to paint a picture of this mechanism. How does this energy go, right? From this to, where's my healing? I need to see it. So we really work through our 4 bodies, and each body has its own density, right? The first body is this, and it's very clear because it has a form and it has an edge, and it is the most dense. The next one is the emotional body. We can't see it, but we feel it. Okay, check, it is true. Next one, the next dense as well, is our mental body. Okay, I can't see it, but I think in it. Okay, check. The fourth one, our field, our spiritual body. That one is debatable, right? For some of us, it's like, it's not debatable. It's there. If you're going to do energy work, that's where the energy work is being done. You're working in the field. From the field, it is being holographically projected into the densities of the other bodies and whatever, into this material world, right? So if you've had an experience, a shift, and you're coming out from a healing, from a meditation, and you're like, it worked, I'm healed. Is that true? Yes, it's true. But then why can't you see it in your physical body? Well, because it has to literally translate through the different bodies. And if your perception, right, which is the next body down, is still limited, if your self-worth is not there where you can accept your own healing, right? Like, do you fully accept to be healed right now? Are you worthy of that healing? That is a big question, right? The guilt associated with being worthy is insane, especially in mothers, in women. It is unbelievable. Right there, that is a blockage, a big blockage. Our belief systems, things like that. Do we need a process? Do we have to suffer? Do we have to pay for our healing, right? All those belief systems. Okay, but let's just say you're clear and that translation keeps going and it reaches the emotional body. If you have emotional blockages, that serves as literally a wall. So when I do my work, especially fear is a very strong wall. So to me, all these bodies are very physical, in fact, because I perceive that density of that fear so thick that to the density of the healing, it is literally like a wall. It cannot penetrate it. So then you really have to work on the wall, right? Through safety, through reassurance of that safety, that wall becomes thinner and thinner, or maybe there's a break in the wall and then a little bit of light goes through and then the hole gets bigger, and right? And those emotional blockages start to become more fluid, more thin. Okay, now it reaches your physical body. Those cells then are being introduced to a new frequency. So they have to reform, they have to recommunicate with all the other cells in a different way. It requires some restructuring. But let's say that healing arrived in the body, then slowly you can see that healing taking place. Now, let's say all those things are very clear within your body, right? Then the healing happens in a moment. That integration, that translation happens in a moment. When that shift occurred in the field, in the body, right? And you hear about that, you read about it. I also had that, I had the honor to also experience that, right? So it's like, it's a real thing, it's a documented thing. There's been plenty of tumors that were there on the scan. A month later, they're no longer there. People with, with cancer healed, right? Okay, so we know it's true, but what if it's happening gradually in an accelerated time period where you don't have time to adjust to these things? And what if it's not necessarily a blockage, but you have some filtration in your mental body, but there's enough penetration that goes into your emotional? And yes, you're not blocked, but you're not fully open. So there's some penetration to your physical body. So all of a sudden, all your three bodies are affected because now your vibration of your field has definitely shifted and it's vibrating at a higher, at the next level, right, in vibration. But now all these bodies are flaring up in their own way. Plus, they're all so interconnected. You change one, they're all going to change, right? But now they're all flaring up in their own way within their interconnectedness. It is interesting. So I want you to just imagine that this environment that you had before, your past aura, was the home of your mental, emotional, and physical body. And in one moment, that changed. How do you think your mental body reacts to this new environment of, oh, I'm good. I'm actually more than good. I'm actually happy. I am so at peace. I kind of just want to giggle and laugh. And your mental body goes, but I worked so hard at being defensive. And it's both the mental and emotional, because you have a thought, it causes an emotion, right? Like they're so interconnected. But how do you think those two bodies react to a new environment, right? Where it's like, oh, your ego does not have to defend yourself so much. Um, you're safe. You can trust now. Oh, I can't trust. The home that was so familiar is no longer there. More so, here's the thing, too. I asked this lady, we sat down, we grounded, and I asked her in her fullness, how far are you open to take this healing today? And she smiles, looked at me with those determined eyes, and she's like, all the way. Okay. I got goosebumps immediately, right? Because when you are so ready and declare, I am open to receive all my healing today, right now, you are creating an engine in that moment. Imagine your soul literally being a locomotive on this train, and every car after that locomotive is an aspect of the self. And the car that's furthest from the locomotive, it is so far, it is almost a lie. It is a lie from your true nature, from your true alignment. But here's the thing, they all have consciousness because at some time you aligned with that. You were that. So you gave it consciousness because it was your reality, it was your truth. And in one moment, that soul goes, right? That field goes, poof, new expression, new vibration. And now these consciousnesses are literally fighting for their life because they're about to, not be needed anymore. And the soul goes, oh, well, you're kind of taking up real estate and you're not aligned anymore. So not only that, but now you have capacity, right? So the mental and the emotional realm, because what comes up, the tendency is to bring up everything from the, not just the subconscious, but the deep subconscious that was suppressed, oppressed, because you were so small, you could not handle the stuff that was coming up. You know what I mean? So now that you are much bigger than that, they have the room and you have the capacity to handle that. More so that pressure, right? It's the pressure of the soul saying, I'm vibrating now at a much higher rate. And you, real estate here, you're vibrating at a very low rate. That alignment doesn't work. So between the pressure that the soul is creating on these oppressed emotions, thoughts, experiences, trauma, are coming out. They're coming out because they can. They're not coming out for you to analyze, for you to rationalize, for you to conclude, for you to solve, for you to understand. No. They're simply coming out because they can. Okay, here they are. Thank you. Return to the light. Return to the light. Go, go, go. Thank you so much. So number one, do not get engaged with what wants to come out. It's the last cars on your train. Okay. Let's go to the physical. It's the same thing, especially if you are experiencing bone and muscle acheness. You could also be experiencing symptoms like flu-like symptoms. But imagine all that deep negativity, whatever, trauma, sickness, disease, oppression, conditioning, fear, on and on and on, is being released from the deepest of your cells. It's going to come out. But it has to come out through that mechanism. And it's coming out through your kidneys, it's going to be eliminated. Oh, the other very common thing is rashes. And rashes, the way I understand them, is when those toxins are being eliminated through sweat, they are so toxic, they create a rash on the skin. And so it is kind of bizarre how the body reacts. Also, it can react through anxiety. So whatever sickness, whatever things you were dealing with before and more, maybe, have the tendency right at the beginning of this locomotive starting to move out of the train station, they have that tendency to flare up. And for you to go, oh my God, like I thought I figured this out. I thought I had a handle on this and now I'm regressing. No, you are not regressing at all. It is just everything moving because things cannot withstand the heightened vibration that your body is now integrating. So all these toxins, literally anxiety, all kinds of things, rashes and whatever, are coming out to be released. Please take care of yourself. Just because it is energetic doesn't mean you have to suffer. Know your limits and know how much you can handle, especially when it comes to the mental and emotional. If it becomes too much and your limits are being pushed, either ask for help or you talk to the engine and say, oh, okay, I know I started off with this strong determination. I want my healing now, but you need to chill and give me a break. I need to come to the surface and recharge before I continue with the purging and with this chaos. You need to slow down. Don't necessarily ignore these symptoms just because you know they're energetic. You know what I mean? Same with the rashes or whatever medication that you're taking, especially if this is a prescription. Follow that recommendation until you have enough evidence that, okay, now I can stop because I'm literally better, right? But it's not, you still need to know those limits. You have to use your discernment in what is what and how far can you take yourself. The more you can trust in that, I have my trajectory, I understand what's going on, I'm going to be non-reactive. I'm going to trust in the stillness. Be still and know is going to be the mantra. But again, know your limits. Ask for help. Do what you need to do to work through the symptoms. Okay, two different things. Food and sleep, again, they can really flare up. To me, what I recommend, if you are not hungry, don't eat just because, it's breakfast time. You always have your cereal in the morning. Allow your body to guide this transformation. If you have to eat, okay, you eat. But if it doesn't call for food, allow your body that space to focus on the work inside and not take energy away from, digesting food, for example. Because after that week, there's going to be the next week where you're going to be starving and you're going to be eating like a wolf, like you haven't been eating in days, follow that as well. If you need more food, give your body more food. Same with meats. You go from, oh my God, I'm gonna become a vegetarian because all of a sudden I don't want meat, especially I don't want red meat. I want something light. Okay, I just want some pineapple and some salad tonight. Okay, great. Because next week, you're gonna come out of a meditation. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I need like a big steak. Flow with that. Don't assume you know what you need now through this transition just because you've done that. That's who you were all this past time. No, you are literally becoming a new person. You're literally becoming a new personality with new taste. And this is a discovery period of who am I becoming? Same with sleep. It could be disrupted. There will be periods where you can't sleep. You'd rather be active. You'd rather be engaged with something. And then you're going to have periods where you can sleep 12 hours and then take a nap, right? It is very flowy. Your body is going to ask different things at different times depending on what is processing. But if all of those are already happening to you, that means that you've already tapped into this intelligence. The locomotive has started. And this tantrums that the last train cars, because they're going to be loud, let me tell you, because, you know, they're trying to get your attention for their survival. Otherwise, they're going to be gone. And so regardless of what's going on in the back of the cars, your locomotive has that trajectory, that mapping is already there. And you're going to go, right? But again, so to me, it's like if you understand how this process moves through the body and that all this is basically a very deep detox at the physical, emotional, and mental level. These deep, ugly, negative, heavy thoughts and emotions have to come out of you, and they have to come out of you through the experiencing of them. It is uncomfortable. It sucks. You still have to take care of them. You can't ignore them. I mean, maybe you can observe and watch for a while, but if they need intervention, then you need to give them intervention, right? It's not pleasant. Still, if you understand, you can trust that locomotive. And then it becomes a little bit easier, right? Once that locomotive gets out of the train station and it moves into the field, you can look forward to your new purge, to your new unfolding, to the new you. Because trust me, it's only the first couple ones that are bad, right? You're going from here to here. This is a death and rebirth. And then you're moving from here to here. This is a death of rebirth. But it keeps on going, right? But now you know how it goes and you're starting to look forward because there's magic, there's awe, there is such beauty in that unfolding. And the more you learn to trust that locomotive, the body, all of them, you can lean into that intelligence and you're kind of taken for a ride into your own discovery. So I'm leaving you with this because this is a never ending story. We can just keep on moving and moving and moving. But I'm really hoping that this will ease this huge transformation if you're in it right now, and just know that it's just how it is. We're all going through very similar things, and very, very much you are not alone. You are not. And so here is my love. Here is my strength. Keep on chugging. It's like the little engine that could, right? You're on that hill, and it's like, I think I can, I think I can. I know I can, I know I can. I can, I can, I can. I'm doing it. Oh, yes. Yes.